pouring plastic into it like this, you're able to spit out 2 identical, or as many as you want, copies. A mold like this can probably pull upwards of 50 copies before it starts deteriorating. And then you have 2 pieces that are lighter, they're identical, they're a lot faster to produce than remanufactured. I also made the inside pieces here the same way. These are molded and cast. So that's when Bill's talking about molding and casting, especially with regards to his rifle, the biggest reason is because if he decided to keep it all wood and sinter, it's going to be very, very heavy. This piece right here, my assault rifle, my M8, this is all MDF. Consequently, it weighs about 12 pounds. It doesn't sound like a whole lot when you're walking around a con, you're wearing armor all day, and you've had a couple drinks. It's not really the best city in the world to be lugging this thing around. I can hold it right here, maybe hold it for about 20, 30 minutes, and it's fine. After about 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to want something that's a lot lighter. There's another gentleman who made a very similar costume to my Dragon Con last year who made these out of foam. His weighed maybe a pound a piece. You can take the 2 of them in both hands and then twirl it around his fingers. I was really jealous of him by the end. I had to make this. I did this for finishing about a week. I didn't have time to mold it for the con, so I just stayed wood. Like I said, as a consequence, very heavy and a little bit uncomfortable to hold all day. And are you good? Okay.
I can see the proper way to do it.
Now, my process isn't terribly different from Bill's, to be honest. Starting out, when I first got into all of this, I didn't really know what I was doing. My first prop was,
What is the Kingbirds effect?
It does this automatic weird zoom in and out thing. It's a cheesy thing that Apple does. Because they think it makes it look more professional. This was my first prop, the Hylian shield. Yes?
Can you go into the details of how I made that?
I can. I will in a minute. I want to cover my process first, and if we have some time, I'll get into that. You don't want to know how big that one was, because as I was talking about heavy, the backplate on that is made out of half-inch thick MDF. It weighs almost 18 pounds, which is a terrible idea when you want to be carrying it around all day. Link is left-handed. He carries that in his right hand. I'm right-handed, so I thought it wouldn't be that bad. It was. It was awful. I also had a metal, like those, huh? No. Like the handles you use to make fences with, or like gates in your backyard. I bought one of those from Home Depot for the handle, so it kind of carved into my hand. This was terrible, right? On top of the fact that it's heavy and uncomfortable, and it's just wrong in dimension. It's too flat. The top of it, doesn't have the right shape. The side's the wrong shape. These filigree pieces down here, I sculpted these out of foam. It was very difficult for them to keep their shape. I also made the whole thing out of foam and then tried spray painting it. After I did that, the whole front of it melted, and then I had to rebuild it back up. It was dumb. So one of the biggest things I learned from, and there's my, that's just, you can see all the cracks along the one side of it where I ran out of appropriately sized foam and just tried to glue sheets on. This was made by me kind of eyeballing the shape, roughly drawing it out and going, that's close enough. I figured out I needed blueprints. This is what I do before I start any build now. I research a ton, and I get as many reference images as I possibly can find, and then I draw these up in Adobe Illustrator. Now, not everybody needs to do that the exact same way that I do. A woman named Lee, who goes by Fev, she does all of hers by hand, which I admire, because I couldn't. I find 3D program or 2D Illustrator programs a lot easier. So when I get the blueprint done first, I print the whole thing out full scale. I have access to a roll-fed plotter, so I'm able to print these out as much as I need, and then go from there. This enables me to be a lot more accurate with my builds. Whenever I start on something now, I know exactly how tall, how wide, what relation, where the elements need to be placed. Instead of trying to look at a reference image that might be slightly skewed or in the wrong proportion or position, I have these flats that I can go back to. This is another good example of that. I made an 80R9 laser rifle named Fallout 3. This one was one that I had kind of to make pretty quickly. I had this for a friend of mine I built for Dragon Con 2009. Built this one in 4 days. Didn't really have very good blueprints when I worked on it, so a lot of details are pretty lacking. This one here took me about 2 months. These were very detailed blueprints. I was able to take my time with it. I knew where all the pieces were positioned. I forgot a whole bunch of stuff on the other build. That was more a matter of time, but you can see, having proper planning and knowing where pieces go, you you'll be able to see much bigger change. Now, for some conventions, you might not need a level of detail like this. If you want a display case or you want something you put in your house, then I would suggest going and building as good a blueprints as possible. The other nice part about having full-scale blueprints, before I start any build, I print these out full scale. So this was the MA rifle. I printed that out, I stuck it on a piece of foam core, and just cut it to shape. And the first one, it was actually a little small. So I knew that the real piece I had to print out about 1.5 inches larger. I've done this with all my props ever since. This shield is a perfect example. I printed about 4 of those out in various